Hey, welcome to another episode of Ask a Photo Pro. It is me. I'm Carty, your friendly neighborhood host. Hope you guys are ready. Today we are getting into an assignment. I gave an assignment last week, well, actually on Sunday, which was a la Albert, not Albert. Let's start this again. A la Edward Weston. Edward Weston photographed peppers, and his work with green peppers, red peppers, yellow peppers, I think he shot mostly green peppers, were pretty amazing. So I'm super excited today to look at your photo reviews. By the way, if you are watching me live and in chat, definitely say hello. It helps me when you guys say hi. All right. By the way, let's go, Vicky. Vicky, glad you're here. Everybody who's watching live, thank you for turning in live. If you're watching after the fact, make sure that you hit replay, gang, in the comments. I love hearing that people are watching me after the fact. This is not just a live show. This is a podcast that I do for you, the emerging photographer. I do have to mention, though, that this podcast, this commercial-free episode, is brought to you by the members of this channel. I'm able to do a commercial-free live stream. By the way, if you're watching this after the fact, you'll likely have commercials. But if you're watching this live, you're getting a commercial-free episode because of the members of this channel. Please consider becoming a member. It is definitely... it's definitely how I prefer to support this stream, is basically user supported rather than advertising. The more members that I get, the longer I'm going to wait before I turn the ads on for these podcasts. So if you're interested in having some ad-free podcasts, please consider becoming a member. Also, this particular show and all of my shows are brought to you by Carty Crew merch. This podcast is brought to you by Carty Crew merch.
Every piece you see, designed by the photographer you're currently watching. And let me let you in on a little secret. Meticulously hand-stitched by the arthritic grandmothers of our very own viewers.
Well, what?
This creative community inspired this entire line. Your zeal for artistry, your tireless dedication, and your individuality shines in every stitch and design. This isn't just another piece of clothing, it's a badge of honor for every creator out there. From what I see here, they are mostly just black t-shirts and hoodies, but you do you, boo. You actually want me to read the rest of this script?
Oh my god, who is this guy?
From the nuanced patterns to the vibrant colors, everything has been designed keeping in mind the creative soul that lies within each one of us. Wow. Who wrote that? There isn't a single pattern, not one.
Oh my god, leave the commentary.
There is hardly any nuance. But it says here, this merch represents more than just apparel. It's an emblem of our shared passion for creativity. Who wrote this? What absolute twaddle.
Wow, this guy's a great supporter.
All of this stuff is kind of basic, to be honest, but I'll keep that to myself.
Okay.
Let the world know you're a part of something bigger. A photographer on YouTube's clothing collection that he actually has the balls to make a commercial about.
Okay, what is going on?
What I meant to say is, a collective of photographers that celebrates and uplifts every form of creativity. I am aware, as the narrator, I'm not allowed to insert my own narrative. But, holy moly, this is horrible.
Wow.
Join the movement, embrace your creative spirit with Carty Crew merch. And yes, he is really calling this a movement. Be proud of your passion for photography. Be proud of your creative life. If photography is your life, flaunt it. The one paying for this advertisement has asked me to make a toast. Isn't this a podcast? Okay, it'll cost you another 20. Let's raise a toast to every photographer, artist, and creative out there. Thanks for being a part of this journey.
This guy's so
patronizing. Did that suit you? That was absolutely ridiculous. Please don't make me read anything like that again.
Back to the show. Glad you guys are here with me. We are about to get into your favorite episode of the week, which is real photo reviews. Real photo reviews are where I go into my Discord to my submission folder and look at the photographs that you guys have for me. This is a special week because this particular week I gave an assignment based on a very famous still life photograph from Edward Weston. This photograph of the green pepper by Weston, and Weston continually would go back to the pepper and photograph the pepper. I'm also going to be having some other reoccurring assignments like the self-portrait assignment. I'm possibly going to bring in figure study as a possible assignment, things that you can continually do to keep you sharp as a photographer. As mentioned, today we are looking at peppers. Oh my goodness, that's not even me. Peppers that I photographed. Peppers that you photographed, that threw me. I actually was trying to do this assignment in time, but instead of me shooting this assignment, I shot and edited 2 videos. I'm dropping 2 videos tomorrow. So instead of my photographs, I did that. I think this one is live now. Is this one going? Yeah, there we go. You know, I like when all of my cameras are going. Puppet says real pepper reviews. Amazing. Romeo, glad you're here. Vicky, glad you're here. Walt, I am glad you're here. Jubo, Robin, glad you're here. Jessica, let's go. Nick, glad you're here, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You ready for some peppers? The thing that is amazing is, for me, by the way, is that I don't look at the photos until right now. I don't see them. I don't look at the submissions. So what you guys are actually getting is my honest reaction as I'm seeing them. You get my honest reaction right now. And I think that that's just better. Yeah. So here, let's look at some peppers. I'm very excited to see what you guys have for me right now. Oh my goodness. Starting with Gibault. Gibault? Oh my goodness. No, there's more. There's more. I'm going all the way. Oh my God, there's so many. Let's go. Okay, starting with Kyle. My bad. Good thing I went back because I didn't want to miss any.
Yes,
We're
sir, yes.
starting with Kyle. Kyle says someone's got to be first. 1 grocery store fresh gray pepper. I went with the red bell variety, thinking the warmer end of the spectrum would be more interesting when converted to black and white. Fuji XT5 and a Fujinon 33 millimeter 5.6 for these photographs. Let's look at Kyle's first image. Kyle, this is excellent, my guy. Excellent. What a great first photo. I'm so glad that you started this off. This is really strong. Really strong. You're holding the highlights here, which is good. And I feel like this is a lighter pepper where up here would actually get a little bit lighter. Yes, I see where your light source is coming from. Secret time, you can actually use a reflector, and rather than light your subject directly, bounce the light into a folded card, like into the folded card, and use that card to control the spread, and you can get more of what I would call like a rim around the light. It's still focused, but you're able to control these highlights that you're getting when you aim directly at the pepper with the light. As far as composition, as far as lighting, exposure, mood, the movement, the feeling of how the stem brings you into here, you're ultra sharp focus. The way you've kind of made this look like a flower, this is really, really excellent, Kyle. Like, again, I'm ranking you this for being the first photo. Yes, this is an 11 out of 10 and exactly the type of effort that I was hoping for. Kyle hits it out of the park with his first image. Let's go, Kyle. Kyle's second image. Kyle's second image. This, I really like the light here. Your discipline with the shadow, the way that the shadow, or actually the shadow and light, is coming down here. This is really excellent as well. The fact that you dropped this not dead center, but you dropped it a little bit lower. You put your horizon line really nicely on a third, and you have really like nice movement. Again, the pepper, really sharp focus. Look at it as a cover. Again, Kyle, this is another absolute banger. Another banger. Kyle, you're 2 for 2. Amazing. Amazing. This, again, this is what I asked for. Well done, Kyle. Let's go. Kyle's got one more picture. Kyle's got one more picture. This pepper looks very much like a yellow pepper. I like it. I like it. The contrast on my screen looks a little bit lower than the contrast that you're likely seeing it on stream, but still, I think it's pretty much on point. I like it. I like how the pepper is quite fat in the frame. I think it's strong, being quite fat in the frame. Again, seeing it as a cover, it's strong. There's great movement. I really like the movement. The way that you chose to make this, again, look like a flower. Your horizon line, leaving lots of space for composition for a cover. You listen to everything that I say. You literally listen to everything that I say, Kyle. I mean, great job. Like, honestly, great job. Really, really, really great job. Now you're going to make my life difficult and force me to choose one. You're going to force me to choose one solitary photo. And I'm not a fan of you for that. I'm not a fan of you right now. But to pick one photo from Kyle, this is it. This is what I'll call your best photo. It's just right. It's right in absolutely every way. Really, really on the button. You did a great job. Guys, that's our first pepper. What a great start. Yes or yes. Holy. Let's go. I love it when it's difficult for me to pick my favorite photo because they're all my favorite. Like that. Kyle, do that. That makes me happy. And I love 3. I love the 3 photos instead of 5. Oh yeah, love that. Let's go. Oh my goodness, Jessica Jean. Jessica's coming in with some heat. Next photographer, Jessica Jean. Jessica says this, black and white is my favorite. I found this assignment fun and challenging. Also, shout out to Carty because I had no idea I could set my camera to shoot in black and white. Shot with the Sony a7 III and Tamron 28-70 lens. And yes, when you shoot black and white and set your camera for RAW, you can make it color afterwards. Let's look at Jessica's first photograph. Jessica, I like this. I like the feeling of it. It's really sharp, but also really shallow. You chose to go for a shallow depth of field where you can see really great sharpness in here on these lines and soft edges around the outer, which I think is really slick. The other thing, you picked probably the most interesting pepper at the store, which makes it clear to me that you didn't just go to the store and grab the first pepper that you saw. You went to stores, plural, and were searching for the most interesting pepper that you could possibly find. And I think that you clearly nailed it with this pepper. Like, it's honestly really, really special. Let me just fix my masthead here because Kyle's pictures were 9x12. But have a look at this as a cover. You've left lots of space. You can also, you dropped it a little bit center as far as the horizon line. You can drop it a little bit lower, but again, this is something that you can do in post because of the way that you cropped it. You can crop from here, or you can crop from here, really with no issue. Contrast, it's a little, I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit more exposure in here. And you are getting a little bit of a shadow over here from the flat. Again, this is stuff where the more you spend time with it and the more frames that you shoot, and I know that you shot lots of frames and only gave me 3, but this darkness here is something that I definitely see. Also, I wouldn't mind seeing like a little bit of a twist on the item on the pepper. I do like it. It's a strong image. I want to see what else you got, and you do have some others. This is another crop where you're really now cutting out that darkness that I was complaining about on the first picture. You really are improving the contrast I'm feeling on this picture. Let's look at this as a cover. This is strong. This is really strong. Really strong. I like this. I like this a lot. I like this a lot. It almost looks like a nose, like a dog's nose, which is hilarious. It looks like a dog's nose and then 2 things morphing out of it. Really nice lines. I like the lines, and I also like the way that you used what looks like a softbox to light this. So the highlights are longer and gentler. It really feels like kind of nice. Like I like that. Jessica says there was a bit of a hunt for that pepper. I'm sure there was. All right, Jessica, let's look at your next one. I'm sure there was a bit of a hunt for that pepper. Let's look at your last one. This is a different perspective. I like the fact that, again, you're right low with the pepper. It's offset, which I think is also really strong. The fact that it's offset. I like that a lot. The focus is really strong. Really strong, and the contrast is really strong. So I'm feeling good about this body of work here, girl. Feeling good about this. Feeling really good about this. Let's look at as a cover. Yeah, you are making this really hard for me as far as choosing my favorite photo from these 3. You're making it hard. But I do think that for me, there's a clear winner. Yeah, there's a clear winner for me. And that clear winner is this picture right here. This is your best photo. I love this a lot. This is really strong. Really strong. Should be really happy with this one. That is photographs from Jessica Jean. Or is it Jessica Jean? I never asked. Is it Jessica Jean or Jessica Jean? Freddie says, my submission for the week. I learned a lot trying to make pictures, and I had a lot of fun. Shot on the 90D with a 50 millimeter. Let's go, Freddie. Freddie's first photo. Freddie, this is really great. I love the blackness and I love the reflection, Freddie. Let's go. Well done. Well done. This has got a good mood, and it's got a good mood right off the start. You know I'm going to look at it with total scrutiny, so checking the focus, you can see your focus is really, really on the button. I love the discipline. I love the discipline of the focus here, Freddie. This is really, really strong. The reflection, the fact that there's no horizon line, you have this reflection and the horizon line just goes into invisibility. And I know this reflection is done with either a mirror or glass with the same background underneath it. Really, really, really well done. Or it's plexi. But whatever you used, you executed this picture really well. Let's look at it as a cover. Really strong as a cover. Again, this is really, really strong, Freddie. You get the smoke. This is dope. Absolute banger. Absolute banger. It's Freddie's first picture. By the way, if you want to be having your photographs reviewed, if you want to participate in this whole photography education system that I have going on here, you have to join the Discord. The Discord is here. It's where the submission folders are. If you become a member here on YouTube, special submission folders unlock, and those submission folders are the ones that I look at while I'm doing my photo reviews live during my show. All right, let's look at Freddie's second picture. Wow, Freddie had a baby. I mean, Freddie's Pepper had a baby. This is really strong composition. Look at this as a cover. Really great. I love how you pushed it low. Really strong. I'm giving you the smoke and the applause for this one. Really strong. The pepper had a pepper, which is crazy. You're shooting at a depth of field that is making it so the seeds and the pepper here are really super, super tight, but the pepper that's being born out of the inside of the pepper is a little soft. Just a little soft in here because of the depth of field from the f-stop that you're using. When you're shooting close-up stuff, especially on a 50, the depth of field is very accurate. So there's depth of field. If there's something that's like there's that much distance between the two of you or the two things, it's going to be soft. In this picture, it doesn't bother me because the thing that you want to be tack sharp are the seeds. So it works for me. Let's look at it as a cover. It's strong. It's strong. My only critique is just watch your edges down here. I feel like how close it is to the bottom of the frame is just a little low. I would like to have the same amount of space that you have here, down here. I feel like it's just a little bit bottom heavy. And sometimes when you go to print, you lose that because it's on black. Yes, you can expand it. But also another thing is I wouldn't mind seeing that same mirror technique that you did in the first picture in this picture. All right, let's look at the last one from my man, Freddie. Wow, Freddie, this is really great light. Let's go. Really great light. You shot this on fabric, but you really used great discipline as far as pulling the fabric taut and making sure that there was no dust or anything like that on it. The way that you lit this with this spotlight feeling, as well as cutting the hole in the pepper in order to kick this hole down here, it's really clever. This soft edge light, the jet black in the background is just amazing. I really, really, really like this one. This is another absolute banger. Absolute banger. Wow, Freddie. Thanks for making it so easy. Appreciate you. Thanks for making it so easy. So I have to now choose a favorite photo between these 3 photos, and all 3 of them that I really feel strongly about. That sucks that you're making this so difficult for me, but that's great because it really means that you took this assignment really seriously. I'm going to go for difficulty, and the picture that I'm going to award your best photo is this picture right here. I am calling this one your best photo. It's absolutely difficult. Absolutely difficult. You can see the level of craftsmanship, the care in this photo. Like, I can see that you really cared about making that photo, and it 100% shows. 100% shows. Guys, by the way, don't be intimidated by the level of photography that you're seeing. Know that every photographer starts from somewhere. The photographers that watch me are all on that place where they're trying to become pros. And even if shooting peppers isn't their niche, everybody really took this assignment seriously and is pushing it really hard, which I love. All right, let's look at Gibault. Pepper submission. Gibault said he thought it was going to be quick. It wasn't. Let's go, Gibault. Gibault's first photo. Really strong. I like this vibe. I like the composition. Really strong composition. I like how you've used these lines. I like how you've used these lines to bring you through this pepper. I also like the pepper that you chose. You didn't choose like a regular pepper. It looks almost pumpkinish. It doesn't look perfect. It's kind of ugly, which makes it very visually pleasing to look at. Again, I'm going to say, look at this as a cover. It's strong. It's a good picture, man. I got nothing to say. It's a strong photograph. Let's look at Gibault's second photograph. Now, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. When photographers take it this serious, man, and do shots that make your brain bend a little bit. Look at the care in this photo. Look at the craftsmanship in this photo. Let's go. Gibault. Wow. Wow. This is an absolute 11. Like, holy. This is nuts. And yes, this looks like an eye right here, which is pretty crazy. Like, it actually looks like a bit of a face. Very, 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 very crazy. Gibault said yes, he saw the eye as well. Great shot. I get great pleasure from this. Gibault's last photo. Gibault's last photo. Again, level of difficulty. Level of difficulty. Gibault's last photo. Level of difficulty, high. Really high. And the focus. Tack sharp on the focus. This is an excellent photo. Excellent, excellent, excellent photo. I don't know if this is suspended. I don't know if this is thrown. All I know is that it's captured really beautifully. Really beautifully. One small thing, this little light bit behind here I find a little distracting. I would love if you wrapped around this way just so you could put this in this space and still center it without having this light competing with your pepper. That's the only 2 cents in a bag of chips I have to say about this photo. Other than that, you're pretty much on the button, honestly. Really on the button. All right. Sometimes I drop some frames, I'm noticing. Sometimes my internet, it seems to go to 0. I might have to change my network channel, which I have set to auto. I never have internet issues, but I have been noticing that I drop a couple of frames from time to time, and that seems to be my bit rate dropping to 0 in OBS. All right. Wow, you made it hard, Jibo. You made it hard. Crikey. Why'd you make it so hard? Okay, your best photo. Your best photo is this photo, Jibo. It is amazing. Amazing. I mean, come on. Was it any question? Your best photo. Just great. Great. Wow. Wow. You guys still with me? Still with me? Still into looking at peppers? Because it's all peppers all the time. John Wallace. John Wallace has some pepper photos for me to look at. Let's look at John Wallace's photos. First photograph from John. This is really good discipline here too. I like this a lot. Again, good discipline from John Wallace. Look at you guys. Who knew that you could do this type of photography that commands such discipline, that actually makes you slow down, choose the right item, and photograph in a really slow and deliberate way? I love it. Good focus, John. Good focus, good highlight. You can see here the highlight and how he has this long highlight, which you can see that's from a softbox, which now it's not a hotspot, but it's a long highlight. That really works for me. Really works for me. I think that this again is a super strong photo. Super strong photo, and it's composed beautifully. I really like this photo. Good shit, John. Great shot. Amazing. Let's look at John's second photo. John's second photo looks very much to be a yellow pepper. This one's a little top heavy for me, meaning up on the top of the frame a little bit. You can see it feels a little much like you want this pepper to kind of exist where the reflection is. But still, strong composition. I do like the shape of this. And if this was an 8x10 and you took everything off the bottom, the frame would end about there. And you can see, although it's still a little top heavy, it doesn't feel as top dominant. But good discipline with how far you are off the edges. I just want a little bit more headspace. And also, when you buy these peppers, you can't leave them for days before you shoot them, because you can see up in here the pepper is starting to decay, and that's because you didn't shoot it right away, or you bought a pepper that was decaying already. Also, there's some dust and such on your background surface. I know that it is time consuming, but all of this dust, you need to make sure that your surface is ultra clean by checking on your camera after you shoot a few frames, or B, fix it all in post. Just because if this was in your portfolio, you'd want it to be as clean as your first one is. And when you look at this one and I look at the background, it's perfectly clean with the exception of this little bit of dust that's on your sensor. So yeah, when the other shot isn't like that, it stands out. All right, let's look at your next photo. Last photo from John Wallace. It's an interesting concept. Interesting concept. We're cutting off the top of this, what looks like a bird cage up here, or a lamp. The way that it's lit and the way that it's pushing the shadow so close to the wall, I would love if this was off the wall a little bit and the light was coming a little bit further down in order to push this shadow like off the background. If you pull this surface off the wall, you can make it so, and if you light from around this way a little bit more side light, you can push the shadow off the wall. And where you're cutting the top of the picture up here, for me, is a little claustrophobic. I want that to not be cut. And also you're very claustrophobic on the bottom. And if you think about this as an 8x12, you're going to lose an inch and an inch if this goes to Instagram. So overall, also a little bit too close with this frame. I'm going to pick a favorite, John Wallace, of your three. And for me, it is the first one. You came in heavy with this picture. This is definitely, for me, your best photo. This one is really, really strong. Really strong. I just need all of them to be with the same discipline that you spent with this one, which sometimes is difficult. Good job, John. All right. John Wallace photos, guys. Let's look at who's next. Anna Banana. Anna says, here's my submission. I went for a dramatic look for my bell pepper shots with a black background and deep shadows. I used a 105 macro, a tripod, and an extra pair of hands for a couple of the images. Let's go, Anna. Anna's in my mentorship program. Let's see what Anna has to offer. Anna's first photograph. I like the offset. Really shallow depth of field, which makes it so we have a little out of focus in here, and then it comes focus in here. You have your stem in focus and a little sliver out here. I don't mind that. When you light directly with a source that's not diffused enough, you get these highlights that are a little broken. This is definitely a situation where I would love to see the reflector, where you kick the light that way into a V-shaped reflector so the light can come back, and then it's going to give you that highlight that sort of molds that whole top just a little bit more. I still like the darkness of it. I do. I would have liked, Anna, in the background back here to have a white card. You just stand a white card here, just offset, just to give you a little bit of kickback. Not as much of a kickback that a light would give you, but enough of a kickback just to give you that edge. So when we're squinting, we're not just seeing the highlight and not seeing anything else of the pepper. We want to see, our eye is begging for a little bit of completion on this side, even if it's just a hint. Looking at it as a cover, like compositionally strong, I feel like two things: the bounced light, one, and a reflector on this side would have taken this to the next level. Still, it's still dope. I just, you're in my mentorship program. I like to push you a little bit harder, and I also know how capable of a photographer you are, Anna. Little bit of dusty that I'm gonna see. A little bit of here, a little bit of here, a little bit of here, a little bit of here. This is stuff that takes 2 seconds to take out in post, but becomes like super noticeable. Also just the edge, you know, a little bit of stuff here, a little bit of stuff there, that we can clean up. But yeah, I just a little bit of that reflection, Anna, would have really kicked this picture into the next level. Let's see another one from Anna. Wow. Well, this, you can see this one, it jumped up in light and it jumped a little bit in execution for me as well. This is really strong, really strong. Feel like you could have backed up and given me a little bit more pepper. Wouldn't mind it cropped like sort of in and around here. So I see just a little bit more of it. But the idea with this looking like a periscope, the spray bottle, so the highlights are really nice. And again, the focus, it really, look at this, really great. And really great. This is your contender for your best photo so far. Really, really, really strong. This is good, 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 good. And again, I look at my, like when I'm looking at your photos, I look at them ultra close. I think it's super important to do that. So that's why I ask for them 4,000 wide. Amazing. And Anna's last photo. Anna's last photo is very, very, very advanced. Anna, let's go. This is very, very good. Like, this is now the way that this session seems to have evolved from this picture to this picture to now this picture. This is outstanding. Like, if this was in my portfolio, I would be proud of this. This is absolutely, absolutely, absolutely nuts. Really, this is top-notch photography. This is almost to the point where I should be like, hey, Anna, this type of photography you should consider doing more of. You should consider doing more of. It's really, really good. You guys still with me? Having a good time? Are you learning something about the discipline that comes from shooting a solitary single object? It's hard. It's hard. Good job, Anna. So, did I say your best photo? Did I do that already? Was I not clear that this one is your best photo? Did I give you the smoke? Did I give you the fanfare? I hope so. Well done, Anna. All right. Next, we have so many submissions. Walt says, who knew making pictures of peppers could be so challenging? Sony A7R2 85 Ellen Chrome softbox, shot on the floor while my dog was sniffing. All right, let's look at photographs from Walt. Walt's first image. Ellen Chrome strobe with the softbox. I like this. I think your background choice or what you're using for black is not giving you the right black. In order to get true black, you need velveteen. Velveteen backgrounds is how I have jet black, and it doesn't show any reflections. It doesn't show any reflections. So that's how you get a true black. Just go to the fabric store and buy a piece of black velveteen. That is my gift to you. With this softbox in your light, I really like it. I feel like this is a little center focused, meaning that you could have offset it that way or offset it that way or shot vertical. You can see if you look at this photo as a vertical, it really has value in like just looking at this. Like, that's the vertical. So because there's value in the composition, and one thing that I try to remind my viewers about, if you have a tendency to drop your subject dead center, shoot vertical, because it's a vertical picture. There's usually nothing important on that side and nothing important on that side. If you must shoot horizontal, offset one side or the other. A horizontal center focus picture is just too basic a like composition, and as photographers, we're trying to go further than just the right on the horizon line centered and right on the dead center axis. That photograph doesn't work in a magazine. I want you to think about dividing the picture in two, yes, but then dividing this side further and dividing this side further. And then think about putting your interesting things on this axis somewhere, in this intersection point, on this axis somewhere, on this intersection point, or down here, just rather than having it dead center. The light, the idea, everything is there. I just want you to work through the compositions a little bit more. Let's look at another one from Walt. This picture, because of either the treatment or like the lack of black, it's making me, because this here is supposed to be black, but you have it treated in such a way that is gray. And I don't think that that's an exposure thing, because there's no noise at all. Like, it's super clean. I think that this is a choice. So again, I'd like to see what this picture looks like processed closer to what this picture was processed, where the blacks are actually richer. This one looks washed and a little underexposed, although the idea, the shot is, it's a cool idea. And I like the dead focus. I like the dichotomy between these two peppers. It's actually really cool. This squiggly line, this dead end, strong. I would love to see these peppers, one here, and just avoid that center. Just work on that compositionally for me the next time you submit, but definitely strong. And I also think that there's a processing thing that we can fix. This picture also has that same sort of wash feel. Just looking at your first one versus this last one, you can see there's like a grayness to it. Again, I'm hoping to maybe see a reprocessed version of this, and also look at how great this composition looks when you punch in. When you punch in and now make these peppers dominate the frame and almost claustrophobically touch the edges. Now for me, that's way more of a composition. Like, this is actually like really quite fire. The thing that has me with the question mark is the difference between the blacks, Walt, between your first picture, your second, and your third. That's one thing that I'm watching. So make sure that your exposure is proper. And that's another thing. I know that you're lighting with an Elechrome. You have a softbox, you have a strobe head, you have a trigger to like connect to your camera. Do you have a light meter? That's my next question. Do you have a light meter? If your answer is no, then your exposure is jumping all over the place. And that is why, if you do have a light meter and you're setting your light meter at the right ISO and all that, and setting the camera the right ISO and doing the proper input and all that from the manual to the manual, and you're doing it in post, yeah, you added fade. for me with this, it needs that punch. It definitely, if you added fade to this, it needs that punch. And also light meter. If you do have a light meter, as long as you're nailing the exposure, then get a piece of black velveteen, try some more, and you'll really see like that rich D-max of 100% black. Matthew Sargent. My submissions. Had a lot of fun doing these and learned a lot. Shot on the Sony a7 II, Tamron 28-75 G2. Jalapeno, Anaheim, and green bell peppers. 3 different peppers from Matt Sargent. Matthew's first photo. What a bizarre pepper. What a bizarre pepper. This poor thing looks like you filleted it. It almost looks like a shrimp. I like the leading line. But I think the top-down angle is a bit radical. I wouldn't mind seeing you lower and hitting this a little bit more from a straighter angle. So we're seeing that cut not top down, but more across like this way. Like, I see the idea. I'm just not sure about the horizon line. And then the top down lighting, the undiffused lighting is giving us really a harsh shadow. I would consider kicking in a reflector, and with your main light, using the light that way into that reflector and then kicking it back in here. If you don't have a diffuser for your light, just getting foam core, a small piece, folding it like this, taping here, and using that to put your undiffused light into it, it's going to make all these shadows way softer and your highlights less harsh. And a little reflector back here to kick back in would be super helpful. That's Matthew's first photo. And I know they just go up, Matthew, because I can see what else you've done. This is cool. I like this top down. You can see this pepper a couple of days had gone by from when you bought this pepper to when you shot it. But there's definitely some textures here. Look at this crop when I'm super punched in on it. This is the whole photo. There's a vibe here. Again, it's a little center focused. Because it's so center focused, I almost want to punch in on it. But then it cuts it so odd. I like this. It's a little close for me to the bottom, as far as how close crop with how much space you have up here. Top downs are really hard, especially with the lighting. Seeing your shadow here. This one is a tricky one for me. But I know you nailed it with your last photo, so we're just gonna go to that one. And I know that you nailed it with this last photo. You know that. So this is another one of the evolutions where it was like, this is your best photo right here. This is the one. This is the one that gets the applause. This is the one that gets the smoke. This is the picture. This is the picture that tells me that you could be a food photographer. And you can see how this photo is such a stretch past this photo, and how the way that I called you on this one and the way that I reacted to this one versus now your last photo, this is now, you've crafted a photo. You really had to think of how to make this photo happen. Like, this is so good, Matthew. Like, really, again, food photographer quality, would work in black and white, would work in color. This is an excellent execution. And again, the difference between your 1, 2, and 3 is like palpable. Like, They're three different photographers, and this is the photographer that you are. So once you make this photo, unfortunately, what happens is the other two photos that you made, you have to reshoot because they're so far down the cliff compared to the Mount Everest that you climbed here. It means you made this photo look so much better than the other ones. You made the other ones look really bad. Well done, Matthew. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Holy, there's so many peppers. We are cutting off at Exploras, who got in at 6:05, but I did see that you posted somewhere else ahead of time. So that's okay. All right. Let's go. We have a few more. Hope you guys are still with me. If you're with me, say, hey, yeah. Coorah! Very happy to be a part of the Carty crew and participate in such great projects. All of these shot with my Nikon Z7 II 24-70. Coorah! First photo. Coorah, this is dope. Really, really dope. Look at this pepper that you found. Look at it. Looks like a whale. Like it looks like the nose of a beluga. So crazy. I love the tones. I love the movement. Like this movement that you have happening here. It's like the Fibonacci sequence. You've cropped it for me already to 9:12. Coorah, this photo is amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Like really amazing. The placement, the discipline, the top light, this has all the things that I demand from a professional photographer. This is everything. Really strong photo, and you picked the right pepper. How hard is it to pick the pepper? I didn't put any emphasis on picking the right pepper, but you guys know you had to pick the right pepper. That was kind of part of it. Or more than one pepper. This is Coorah's second. This is another attempt with a very similar composition to this photo. It's almost the same version. It's almost the same photo with just a slight variation. This picture is starting to get a little bit claustrophobic for me in the distance between this edge and here. This is kind of okay, but again, we're getting a little tight as far as how close we are. The highlight, this top light, this undershadow that you have is all like really strong. It's looking very phallic right now. If you take like a quick look at this, this is looking very phallic. Don't tell me that that's why you chose it. If I had to choose between this one and the other one, I would choose the first one because you've given it just a little bit more space. This one is almost blatantly, obviously looking like somebody's parts and labor. Just a little bit. And your last one, Coorah. This is a great perspective and a great offset. I like this one. I like this one a lot. Yeah, I like this one a lot. It's very delicate, really soft. You placed it on the third. It could even afford to go over a little bit more. Really delicate focus on the nose of this beluga. Many different ways that you could have composed this. Many different ways. And again,
new member.
All of them are tricky. Let's go, Stephen C. Welcome back, my guy. Thanks for becoming a member again. Let's go. Welcome back. Yeah.
New member.
Let's go, Advocate. Let's go. Welcome back, Advocate. Glad you're here. You guys, you know, when I get new members here, I like to like secretly under here light a lighter and like explode my apartment. So that's what we're doing right now. You know, just lighting a little fire. Because if you look here, it says 100, which means we have 100 members on this channel. 100 members. Do you understand how amazing that is? How exciting that is? I've been on this grind with this, trying to get the member thing going and trying to get you guys excited and trying to have a way and perks for you guys to join. These photo reviews is, I love doing them. So it's so amazing that they're helpful and beneficial for you. But hitting 100 members is a thing. And the fact that we got there, it's bloody amazing, man. Thank you guys. I love you all. Thank you for being a part of this amazing community, man. Like, it's wow. Let's go. I love you guys, especially you two. OGs, hardcore, here for life. You know who you are. All right. Wow. We hit 100 members. We have hit 100 members before, but, you know, memberships expire and few of these were gifted and quite a few of them are gifted. So, you know, when gifted members expire, it's like you got to join again because gifted members don't auto complete if you don't sign up afterwards. Some people don't even know they got gifted members. So yeah, you know. So I'm going to call out my favorite photo from the one they call Kura. Kura, right here. This is your best photo. I am calling it this one. I think it's really great. It's really strong. It's elegant. Not quite as phallic as the other one. And definitely a photograph worth acknowledgement, recognition. And you picked cool peppers, man, honestly. All right. Yellow Peck. Yellow Peck is new. Yellow Peck says, here's my submission for the weekly assignment. I shot this photo on the Canon 80D with an 18 to 135, 3.5 to 5.6, and a 51.8. This is my first submission. The stock 18 to 135 lens, Yellow Peck. Throw the 18 to 135 kit lens out your nearest window and only use your kit lens. Although I'm going to be able to tell what you shot with the kit lens versus maybe not. Okay, let's open these in browser. This is Yellow Peck. Yellow Peck, first submission. And Yellow Peck can shoot. This is great. Great light. Great shot. For your first submission, this is epic. Really, really great. Look at the way that Yellow made it so he shot on a white background. This is clearly white, but look at how it actually went black because he's using a focused circle of light. Look at how the shadow is pinching underneath itself and almost becomes a part of the pepper. And when you get in hyper close, that's when you really can see the focus and the texture of all of these little ridges and highlights on this pepper. Really, really, really well done. Yellow Peck, welcome. For your first submission, this is absolutely epic. Epic, epic, epic. Good, good, good job. Wow. Yellow Peck. Yeah, 50 millimeter 1.8 is going to be sharper than the 18 to 135. The 18 to 135 has roughly 22 pieces of glass in there, possibly 26 elements. And the 50 millimeter 1.8 has 4, possibly 6 pieces of glass in there in order to make up that lens. So the amount of glass traveling, light traveling through it, just zoom lenses are just softer. So 50 also is going to give you true depth of field. So that's why you always hear me like just shaking my head when I hear people shooting with zooms. If you look at your lens, you'll see if you shoot with a 28 to 70, 28 to 85, 24 to 70, 70, like look at any zoom lens, look at your specs, and then see how many elements. Elements is how many pieces of glass are in the, like they do front, back, like how many pieces of glass make up your lens. Primes have a third, if not at times a quarter of the amount of glass to the zoom equivalent at that zoom setting. Just saying. All right, let's look at Yellow Peck. Another photo. This is really great. I love this idea. This gets the rating. I like this idea a lot. It looks like you hung this pepper. The shadow is actually beneficial in this situation. I actually like the fact that you have the shadow, because the shadow gives us like a reference that it's like it's floating against the wall. Like that actually works for me. Also, you have nice vignetting, you know, where you're now it focuses your eye here. I don't mind the offset because the shadow is balancing this, which is making it actually really work for me. This is another banger. Another banger for me. Really strong. Really strong. Wow, you guys turned it out for me today. Good stuff. And there's nothing better than new people joining the membership here, joining the Discord, submitting photos, and getting the full benefit of this whole thing. There's nothing that makes me happier. All right, Yellow Peck's last photo. This is the photo that was shot with the 18 to 35. And I can actually tell because you can see here the difference between this photo when I zoom in that close and this photo zoomed in, and just how this has like an overall blur feel. It doesn't have that softness, that sharpness that you want it to have, and it goes like throughout the whole thing. It just doesn't have the like oomph. It is sharp in a couple of places, but this is the one that I'm going to bet is the 18 to 135. And the next thing is that you have to process in 16-bit. 16-bit is going to make it so when you're dealing with gradients and the type of gradients back here, like I'm seeing digital noise, and that digital noise comes from processing in 8-bit and then making a JPEG. We process in 16-bit and then make a JPEG. And that's going to make, because there you have banding, there's banding that is happening. I don't know if you can see it on stream, but you see different lines of color tone that are coming in here. That banding happens when you process in 8-bit. You process in 16-bit. I actually should make a video on that, the difference between and why you process in 16-bit and then convert it to 8-bit and then save it. And it'll make it so you don't have the banding. This is something I think I can make a short video on. And my friend, if you provide me with these raw files by putting them in the raw submission folder, Yellow Peck, if you do that, I will be able to use your photos to help demonstrate why you process in 16-bit. I'm going to pick a favorite photo of mine from your set, like I like to do. I'm going to pick a favorite photo, and the favorite photo... Ooh, you made it hard. Shit. I actually thought it was going to be easier. But no, you did make it difficult. crap. Yeah, I'm gonna change my mind. This is my favorite, and I'm going to call it your best photo. This one here, I think this is magic. And also the level of difficulty is just so high with this picture. I know you had to hang it, light it. Like it's just, it's so right. It's on the button. And if you look at that focus here, this one I know was shot with the 50 because I can tell because it's way more crispy. Way more crispy. Yeah, this is my favorite photo from you. Yellow pack. Let's go. All right. Next, photographer, Dreadfully Blessed. Canon 5D Mark II, 75 to 300 and 24 to 70. First submission from Dreadfully Blessed. First photo. I like it. Good focus. Good focus. I would really love to see what you would do with just a 50 millimeter. Just a 50 millimeter 1.8. I would love to see what you could do because this is very much a 50 millimeter perspective. Good discipline with the offset and bringing this off the front of the center. Seeing the radiator in the background is a little distracting. I appreciate the table that you have here, but in this situation, just come up here with like a piece of cardstock and just put that piece of cardstock in front of the table here so you're hiding the radiator. I know, yes, it's a nice depth of field thing, but the light that's coming through here is actually quite nice. But I do find the window ledge up here, the steamer and the radiator competing with the pepper. Also, this highlight's coming in. This highlight here is coming in a little hot. That highlight is +1 stop. The reason that I can tell you it's 1 stop is because this pepper is this color and this is white. So when it's white, that means it's 1 stop over. And the reason it goes white is because of the reflection, the shine on the pepper, and the brightness. You obviously have to expose for in here, but when you're shooting your shot, you got to notice how hot that highlight is and consider some sort of diffusion material between the window and the pepper to soften that highlight. This is a great first submission. This is really good. And it does help me see where you are on the scale of photography. It like, I judge you against you. So your first submissions set your bar, and like now I can push you to constantly be watching for non-distracting backgrounds and all of that stuff. All right, let's look at your next picture. Yeah, we're gonna look at this one second. The light and the discipline on this one are really good. Really good. I think you're a little claustrophobically close to this edge. And I know it's because you're trying to show this edge as a focus, but this closeness, it's feeling like super claustrophobic. And if you go to print, this goes to a print, it gets cut here. You're going to lose. And then if it gets clipped, now you've kind of lost the whole picture. And also this side, this gets cut here. So this V is also going to get cut up here. So you need to move this closer so you have space here so it doesn't feel so claustrophobic. And then just move your camera this way so you're getting a little bit more of that V. So it feels a little bit more balanced. Like I really want to move this over. Like I can just feel it. All the highlights that you have happening here, the angle, the shine, the one that you chose, the darkness that you have over here, and this little bit of light, everything is great. Where you drop the horizon line Everything is on the button. I just think you need to move this over so that ends about there. So you give yourself a little bit of space like here, and then shift yourself around so you have this a little bit more predominant in the photo. It's a strong effort, and better background than the first picture, for sure. Better background than the first picture. There's still just like, there's a discipline that you're learning, and I can see after shooting those first two, this is how you felt, which is why you included this picture of you riding over the pepper. I wish there was a little bit more light in here so we could actually make out that this is a tire a little bit more. I definitely see that you curb stomped this thing. Like, this is the curb and here's the road. It's very funny. I just think that if this had just a touch of light giving you a little bit of detail, that would be a little bit helpful, but still, it's definitely hilarious. And look at it as a cover. Like, this says everything about how you felt about shooting peppers. That's pretty great. Pretty great. I'm going to pick a best one. For me, your best photo is, Jesus. Your best photo is this one. It's the strongest. It just has a few little technical mistakes as far as your composition. Your exposure is bang on. The idea is bang on. So for me, I'm gonna call this one your best photo. Easily fixed with like a little bit of a move over. Just watch your edges. Watch your edges. Make sure you scan your frame and shoot lots of frames, and then check them and make sure that you're not too close to the edge. You know what I mean? It makes the viewer feel like they want to correct something. You want the viewer to feel satisfied when they look at your photographs. All right, let's look at another photographer. We are getting close. I'm sure we are getting close to the end here. We are getting close to the end here. We have 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. Oh my goodness. We still have a lot to go. I'm going to try to go a little bit further. Puppet Master. Great location. Really delicate. Really delicate. This photo, I feel like your pepper, although I really like the placement and where you put it, and I like the fact that you tried something risky and tried something different, and also the fact that you used a lighter pepper, and this background just feels like texture. I wish this was a little sharper, because this isn't what our main sharp thing is, and we have things over here that are sharp. It makes the pepper not the thing that you see first. We see these blades first because they're the part of the photo that's the most in focus. So in order to shift our eye, so this is what is in focus, we need this stem to be rock solid, as well as that edge right there. That's going to make our eye go right there right away. As far as the composition, you absolutely nailed it. If this wasn't a pepper assignment, I would be like, that's just a dope photo. Because the assignment is so pepper specific, this particular picture, I feel like the pepper's fighting with the location. Let's look at your others. I have another from the puppet. Look at that one last. On ice. Interesting. On ice is an interesting angle. The
New
fact that
member.
let's go, Kev, welcome, Kev. Glad you're here, man. Thanks for becoming a member. You know, if you become a member, you get to smoke. So, Kev, welcome. Thank you for becoming a member and burning my house down. I appreciate it. I hope the fire department doesn't come. If they do come, it would be pretty funny, but I hope they don't come. Welcome, Kevin. Thanks for becoming a new member. All right, let's go back to Puppet. Puppet on ice. This picture, because of the white, this is super white. Obviously, it's ice. I think exposure-wise, up in here in the corners, we're losing the exposure a little bit. It's getting just a little bit gray. And because this is in here is getting a little bit gray, when we look here at this now looks a little bit gray. Because of how you're hitting it with the light's relatively even. So because of that, the overall feels gray. In this particular case, I would hit it a little bit harder with artificial light in order to get a little bit of drama and a little bit of shadow over here and possibly a little bit of gradient throughout the picture. This one feels a little bit flat. I appreciate the idea of shooting it on ice, and I like the composition of you pushing it offset. It's just a tricky thing because there's not a variation of tones. You just have the tone of the ice, which if you squint your eyes just looks gray, and then you have a darker gray of the pepper, which it also, if you had a more textured, a more nuanced pepper, then those lines would create a little bit of drama and a little bit of contrast. But this one for me, it's a little simple, and I think that, like, I know that you can make photos a little bit more complicated. This one for me is my favorite. For sure. This is my favorite. This is the one where it all kind of comes together. It's the right shot, the right focus, the right location, and it still makes the pepper the focus. So for me, this is the winner. This is the one that I would call right away. This is your best photo. This is the one, the best one from the set. This one feels the cleanest. It spatially, compositionally, this is the one. This is the one, Pep. Well to go. Way to go. Way to go, Puppet Master. Let's go. All right, guys. That was Puppet Master. You guys with me still? Having a good time? Hope you're having a good time. Hope you're with me still. Sometimes these photo review shows, you know, like, I have people who want to submit photos. They just want to have their stuff looked at, you know? So, yeah, Puppet, you're getting some love. Welcome back, Todd. Missed you, buddy. Todd says, I have 3 and Izzy did it as well. So first we're going to look at Todd's photos. Wow, this is very Man Ray-ish. I can see there's almost like a treatment that you did to the blacks, which is very similar to the other photo that we were looking at earlier from one of my other viewers. I really like the lines though. I like the lines. I think it could have got pushed down a little bit. Like it's a little centered, you know, it's a little dead center. But still, Todd, like the tones are really dope. I just want you to watch your exposure when you're lighting artificially. Make sure that you're getting your exposure as close as you can. I can see quite a bit of noise in the tone here, which tells me that's like an exposure thing. Do let me know if you are having some issues with exposure, because there's definitely an idea there. If you're using a flash and don't have a flash meter, that's a problem. There's, again, these compositions, like you're very there, I just want to make sure you're not adding grain after the fact. This picture is very compositionally close to this picture. It's just like a little bit of a rotation. I like when you try different things, but I do appreciate it. Looking at it as a cover, it's strong. You can definitely, again, push this a little bit down so it doesn't drop dead center. But still, this is strong, Todd. This is strong. I'm trying to see what you got for your last one here for me. Wow, and he comes up. The last one is, I'm going to call this one the best. This one the best one. You can call this one your best photo. This I like a lot. Again, they're all very center composed. They're all very center composed. So I do want you to watch that center composition and think about dropping your stuff a little bit lower in the frame. So it's not so dead center with your verticals. But this picture here, if you look at how nice and gooey it is, when you look at the inside guts, it looks like a tongue. You photographed that really well. The background though, definitely could clean up the background. You can see a lot of stuff, although this one is my favorite of the bunch. There's definitely some cleanup that you can do in post in order to take this photo to something that like you can actually say, yes, this is finished. That's my favorite one. This last one, Todd. There we go. Your best photo. This picture right here. By the way, at the end of these episodes, I like to give photo of the week. Last couple of times I've been doing the photos of the week in the Discord, and people have liked photos of the week in the Discord. You tell me in chat right now if you want photos of the week in the Discord, or if you want to learn about it in this episode. I feel bad for the people who are watching who aren't in the Discord, but it's definitely a reason for you to join. All right, let's look at Izzy's. Izzy's first photo. Izzy picked a great pepper. Definitely picked a great pepper. For sure. Very, very much looks like a dead body. Horizon line, Izzy, we can definitely straighten in post. And then just your spacing, where the distance between here and here, much like I said to your pops, we can definitely get that pepper a little bit lower. Just bring it lower in the frame. Everything else is super, super great. It's a great, great shot. Get your pops to help you with some of the post-production, but you're onto something. You're a strong shooter despite your age, so I'm interested to see what else you did here. This is a really interesting perspective as well, Izzy. I like this a lot. Make sure you're not cutting the edge of the pepper here off. And because you're leaving so much bottom space here and the pepper is really just taking up the top of the photo, I'd love for you to inch yourself a little bit closer so you can perhaps cut the photo off like here, and then give me what's happening up here and a little bit more space that way. I feel like you're really onto something, like there's something there. You just have to like keep practicing the composition and not just shoot one picture, shoot the picture, look at the back of the camera and think to yourself, what could I do in order to make this frame better? And usually it's where you're putting your most important thing. If you check back and keep looking at your frames and shooting again and again and again and again, yeah. So basically, I had somebody trying to imitate me, basically, in the Discord. This is just a little bit of a sidebar before we look at the rest of Izzy's pictures. In Discord, somebody joined the Discord that's using my name. They're using Steve Carty 1, and I had to block them, but they were also sending DMs to my users and asking them for money, and so it's not me. I'm never going to DM you about and force you to join my mentorship program or to buy crypto or anything like that. If anybody gets us, like, I rarely unsolicitedly DM people from my server, rarely, and definitely not to force them to join something, buy something, or something like that. If you want to join my mentorship program, you just do it on my website. It's straight. I'm rarely like giving you some alternate ways to pay and all that stuff. It looks shady. Everybody who it's happened to has messaged me and said, "Is this you?" And I've said no. So it's the second time it's happened. I think it's the same person that's doing it. So if you guys see any oddities that are happening in any of my comments, my YouTube comments, or my Discord comments, just check, see who it is. It's usually not me. Pretty easy to follow YouTube comments to see it's not me. And on Discord, yeah, just like go to the server, see me. You'll see I changed my profile picture. Yeah. Anyways, back to Izzy. Small things with that picture, Izzy. You can definitely make it a lot better just with pushing this pepper down a touch and just backing up a little bit. That's all you need to do. Good shot though. Get your pops to help you with some post. The pepper that you picked looks like a dead body, and I think that you picked it because it looks like a dead body. It's like the head is cut off, the arms are tied behind the back, the legs are crossed over, and it's in like a hostage position. Like, Izzy, you're so funny. This is really, really great. Really great. I think for me, Izzy, this is my favorite photo. Out of your 3, this is my favorite photo. I think this is the one where you really nailed it. Next time you're shooting these kinds of things, just watch your edges. I think that there's a little bit of a stem there. I'd really like to see a little bit more of that stem. And then also just down here, make sure you're inching up, or shoot this horizontally if it feels like it would be a better frame that way. Just so your pictures don't feel claustrophobic or like too tight, I'm a very visual person, by the way, so all these things that you're seeing me see in the pepper, like the nose earlier, and yeah, it's fun to see things not how they are. Sebastian Kawaka. Sebastian said, to be honest, this wasn't an easy challenge. Even at F11, I had problems with the shallow depth due to the fact that I was taking the shot at the very limit of the distance on my 35. Best wishes to all of you who shot this assignment wherever you are. Let's look at Sebastian K's first picture. All right, Sebastian also shooting on fabric, and you can see when you use fabric, all of these little specky specks that show up in the fabric, and also the wrinkles. Unfortunately, unless you have a steamer, we see the wrinkles back here and back here because velveteen is how you get jet black. If you're trying to get jet black any other way, you will continually come up with this kind of problems. One thing that you could have done in this situation, Sebastian, to fix this is put glass over top of this table. So you put a piece of like picture frame glass over here, and now it's going to take away these fabric highlights and also give you a nice reflection of the pepper. And where the glass ends now, there's going to be a blend, which is going to go quite seamlessly between the black, which is actually black, as long as you don't look at it super, super close up. And you can also, another secret, if you're using not the right type of black, pull it tight. If it's a fabric, you have to pull it really taut, and that helps pull the wrinkles out. It also makes the material appear thinner. But yeah, again, it's a good execution. I don't want you to get too discouraged. We're losing a little bit of light on this side because your light's coming in from here. A reflector on this side kicking light back in here just to give us that separation. And because the shadow is kind of ominous and dominating, just a little bit of a reflector just offset here to be able to kick light back would be absolutely excellent. Where your stem is, I think I wouldn't mind seeing this rotate a little bit so it kind of pulls your eye into it. The fact that it's in the foreground also is playing a part of the shadow, because this is actually blocking light and creating a shadow here, which is kind of adding to that. So just rotating that around would at least have cleaned up a little bit of that. It is definitely tricky, man, to shoot these. It's tricky, and it's good that you go through the exercise and you went through the exercise. Your focus, perfect. Like, your exposure, perfect. Like, there's things that you nailed, but you can still see shooting something that's predominantly uninteresting and making it interesting is an incredibly difficult exercise. Really difficult exercise. But the fact that you guys are all giving it your like best effort is like really good. Here's another one from Sebastian. You can see here, this angle now of this now brings my eye into the picture, which I really like. I like the shape here, really strong. Reflector back this way would have completed a little bit of the circle and given you a little bit of the highlight on that side, which I feel like we're missing. The one light from this direction is good, but because it's a small source, you're getting separation from the highlights because it's one small source. This is another scenario where you use a card like that, you aim that source that way, and then the whole thing kicks light back and you're able to get like longer, cleaner highlights on. But again, it's like, this is one that many of you may want to try again, which is good. It's good if you want to actually try it, because you want to take in the tips that I've given you and now put them into action. So yeah, this one is the cleanest with the background. Definitely, Sebastian. It's very flowery with the pepper here. The way that the water is hitting this, it almost looks like there's some sort of a oil here, and then over here you've missed it over here but not over here. So that line, because it's so predominant, and I have a 4K monitor, I can't not see that. But looking at your 3, 1, 2, 3, I am going to call this one as your best photo out of the 3. I feel like all of them would have been greatly improved just with a little bit of a reflector on that back end. And when you have a small source, bounce and then use the bounce in order to give you like a bigger feeling of a source and better reflections. Definitely. That's just a tip for everybody who is watching and new at lighting artificially. All right, that's Sebastian. Let's look at my brother, Carty, also known as Leslie. I have a brother. He's a photographer. He's not a photographer. He's actually an artist, but he photographs. He uses photographs with his paintings, as in he photographs and then paints his photographs. He's also an incredible car painter, and he has shot some still lifes. This is the second time Les did this pepper assignment for me. Les, this is great. I really like this. I really like this. The exposure is off a little bit. You can see the exposure's off just by the noise, the digital noise. When you're shooting this without a light meter, it gets really tricky, but the contrast that you have here, the composition, the way that you inched in close enough to be able to like cut it down the center as a double page spread is kind of cool. You've given yourself enough room here. You've given yourself enough room here. And the top light, like the top light is inspired. The fact that you've pushed the shadow underneath it is actually the most interesting way to see the shadow. My only concern is the exposure that comes from like not having a light meter and seeing how light translates. I don't know if you shot this on a tripod. This is a great shot to do on a tripod with like a 2-second exposure. That like nails it perfectly, but handheld, you need to go way higher with the ISO, and then that's where the digital noise really comes in. And I also know you don't have professional lights, so the fact that you're doing this just with like lamps, it's pretty actually amazing. This is a good one, bro, for you doing with the existing equipment that you have. Seriously. All right, let's look at another one from Leslie. This is another, seriously, strong photo. Strong photo. It's clean white. There's a couple of things that you could clean up in the background, but just as far as the overall idea and the composition, the way that you really manage to have like diagonal cross composition, it's really strong. This is really strong. I actually like this. There's good focus. Your eye dances around this. There's great contrast, light and dark. This is good, Les. I like this a lot. This is good. Good job. Les has one more photo. This photo is a cool angle. For me, it's the least interesting out of the three, just because you hit so hard with this photo and the contrast is so good. You hit hard with this photo and the contrast is so good. With this photo, because it has like an overall like gray kind of a feeling, for me it doesn't hit quite as hard. I think for me, I am going to call this one your best photo, my guy. That one right there. Like, I just love the composition. I love the way it's lying, the light, and the fact that you did it with existing lamps and stuff like that you have at your house is pretty dope. All right. Guys, we have 4 more photographers to look at. Let's look at Melin. Submitted these today, and these peppers, this pepper is hilarious. Look at the shape of this pepper that Melin picked. And I have no idea what you're shooting this on. It looks like it could be a couch based on dog hair and the feeling of wrinkles. It looks like it's a couch that you put this on. Very, very strange pepper. Super shallow depth of field. So we have one super sharp area and sharp areas up here. But you can see this main body here and this main meat here. You really are dying for this to be in focus instead of down here. So for me, I would love to see another frame where this isn't in focus. Also, this pepper and the way that you shot it, it kind of looks like poo. I know that that's funny because poo usually isn't this shiny, but this part here and the way that this end is going, it looked like when you see it small, Like literally, when I saw this photo small, and when you see it here and you just see it for a second here, it's like, wait a second, what is that? It looks like intestines. It looks like it's hilarious, you know? But I definitely see that it's a pepper. It's definitely a super interesting one. I think that having this super dead focus, this area, more so than this back area, would have made this picture way stronger for me. I think focusing back there gives us just a little bit too much illusion. And also shooting it on your couch, and I mean, yes, it's textured, but there's areas back here and dust points where it's almost like more distracting, I think, than it needs to be. If this was shot on like a flat surface, you would have really saw the nuance of the pepper even more. I think because of you shooting it on this couch, it feels a little bit like we're losing it just a touch, you know? All right, let's look at another pepper from Milan. Okay, I want to see that one last. Milan's second pepper. Also looks like shot on the couch. Curious as to what this light source is. I can see it's coming very much from like the level of the couch, because it's actually lighting the couch as much as it's lighting here. If you could get that light up and come down just a little bit more, then it wouldn't hit the couch quite as much and would hit here, and in fact wrap around this side a little bit more. Having a reflector here to kick light back here and give us just a little bit more of that detail, I think would be helpful. And also, it's a little bit too top heavy. You have lots of space down here. An 8x10 crops this picture right here. So I feel like it could still get pushed down a little bit, but I would consider shooting this on a diagonal so it's not so dead straight. Good shot, good shot. Let's look at another from Milan, and this is the last one. And this is another very interesting angle. This is very interesting. The pepper is like flawed, which is okay because that's just the nature of peppers. But this one for me is the most interesting angle. I would love to see this pushed up just a bit so it's not dead center. Would love it to drop like here on this axis and have this little nip kind of in and around there. Therefore, we're now going through the whole picture because you're also cutting it off on that end just to put it in the middle, which I don't think is necessary. I think you have a whole bunch of wasted frame here that you could definitely move this over. Out of the three, though, Milan, out of the three, I definitely have a favorite out of the three, and that's the last one that you shared. This one for me is your best photo. This is the one that's the most interesting. It's the most interesting light. It's the least distracting with the couch. Again, consider photographing this not on the couch, but maybe on a piece of fabric. Maybe wrinkle the fabric, maybe force the fabric to gather so the fabric has the same feeling that the couch does to give you some hills and valleys, and then shoot it that way. Or shoot it on a piece of glass, flat surface, reflective. Love to see that pepper shot again before it dies. All right. We have three more. Nick Risk says, some quick pepper shots. Quick pepper shots. All right, Nick. This one is beautiful. Beautiful. I don't know what you did. Did you fill this pepper with peppercorns? Is that what you did? This looks like something that, what's her name? Home and Garden Television would do. Martha Stewart. This is a fantastic photograph. Fantastic. Really strong. Great focus. Great tone. Great pepper. Great photograph. Like, this is just straight up good. Like, really good. Little close here. Small things to watch for. This distance is about how the minimum that I would want to go. This distance is a little close. And down here, that's too close. That's way too close on the bottom. So when you go to print, you're going to lose that. Just the idea is there. The angle is there. It's the same picture if you just give yourself like another this much space. Like give yourself to here, you know, on this side to here. Give yourself to like here is good here, but down here on the bottom, oh my God, that's way too close. Way too close. Other than that, come on, it's an amazing capture. Amazing. Nick Risk coming in hot. Let's look at another one from Nick. Nick went macro, not just with a pepper, but with a peppercorn. Look at this macro shot. He went small. Good shot. Let's go. Nick with the peppercorn. Well played, buddy. Well played. Well played. Well, Nick, the 100's amazing. I love the 100 millimeter macro. It's like one of my favorite lenses. This is a great shot. Really great shot. All right, let's look at Nick's last one. Like, the light on this photo, this like top light that you have going on here, really gentle undershadow, the gray background. It's right. It's just right. Honestly, like nothing else to say except for it's right. Like, yes. Yes. Yes, Nick Risk. Yes. All right. Last one from Nick. Wow, you did go in tight with that 100 millimeter macro. By the way, if you want pictures this close, you need a macro lens. And I have the 100 millimeter macro. Maybe I should make some macro content. Talk about how I shoot up close. Nick, this is great. I feel like the framing is a bit off because there's a couple things up here. This for me is a little distracting. And this darkness here is a little distracting. I feel this, like what's happening below and likely what would be down there. But I feel like this top part, this and this up here is a little distracting for me. For me, it's clear and quite easy for me to show you what my favorite photo is of yours. Like, it's unequivocally for me this is your best photo. This is really a strong idea. I think that you knew it was a strong idea when you shot it, and you nailed it. It's super dope. Super dope. So great. Wow, guys, I love these episodes. I love photo review episodes, and I love even more when there's like 18 people who are submitting, 20 people who are submitting. Like, it means you guys like what I'm doing here. It means that you feel value from this content, and it means that these photo reviews are actually helping you, which makes me happy. Amazing. It makes me happy. All right, Romeo says, here's my pepper. They are poblano peppers. I really enjoyed this challenge and putting these together. Photographs by Romeo. Romeo, this is great. Great. Romeo, you've come so far in such a short time with your ideas and your executions. I know that at times I'm hard on you only because I believe in your quality and I believe in your capability as a photographer. You're showing us here that you actually do have strong ideas. And look at this as a cover. You're also saying here that when I give you parameters, when I give you limitations, when I tell you exactly what to shoot, you're able to take that, make it your own, and still give me back something that I can put on the cover of Behind the Picture magazine. So that makes me happy. Romeo leveled up, by the way, guys. On this assignment, Romeo leveled up. Good shit. Timeless photo. Let's go. Welcome. Glad you're here.
New member.
Timeless photo. Timeless wants me to blow down my place. Let's go, Timeless. Yo, more smoke. More smoke. Yo, we're at 102 members. We made it past the member goal. I've had this member goal since August the 1st, and we made it today to 100 members. Let's go. So you know what that means now? It means now we have to have a new goal. What should the next goal be? 150 members? Should I aim lower? 120 members?
High quality content.
High 120 members, maybe? 110? Guys, by the way, if you can control my stream, by the way. 200 should be the next one. You control my stream. All you need to do is type commands like this. Command is the exclamation mark. Yes or yes. All you needs to do is type commands. And then you'll see all the different things, if you click that link, that you can do in order to control my stream, like you see my viewers doing right now. So, timeless photo, welcome. We are looking at photographs from Romeo. Romeo came in hard with his first photo, and I'm ranking you, my guy. Very happy with this photograph. Well done. Romeo's first picture. Romeo's next photo. Romeo's next picture. Yeah, I like this. I like this. And I mean, now the kind of discipline that you're shooting now I can really be coaching you and really showing you like the smallest little nuances where we're a little bit closer on this side than we are on this distance. So it needs to get pushed a little bit this way. Also, you can also now see that compositionally, you're really dropping your subject almost right on the center axis. So now it's like, can you lower this so it now feels like it's coming in and around here? That gives you enough space here off the bottom in order to not like be too close, but makes it feel not top heavy, because you can see when I put the masthead in, it feels a little bit top heavy. Keep in mind, if I make an 8x10, this is where it crops for an 8x10. So if you imagine that's the crop for an 8x10, now the bottom space is a little bit better, but keep in mind, like, I prefer a little bit more headspace, but it has to feel natural. It has to feel like you're making these compositions, not me. I'm not telling you how to compose. Like, it should feel natural, but when you drop your subject just dead center, that's when I try to like guide a little bit, because, you know, that's what we were taught. Make sure it's centered. Make sure it's centered. But now that we start to get a little bit more advanced with our photography, it's about like, okay, how can I make this composition more complicated than what anyone else would be showing? And Romeo's last photo. Romeo, this is artful. This is beautiful. Really, really strong. It's a little bit of focus that we're missing. Feel like if you're doing this handheld, that might be the reason. There's a little bit of camera shake that's happening in here. I want to make sure that you're shooting this. If you're shooting with a 50, you're shooting at a 50th of a second. If you're shooting this with, yeah, you have to be 1 over the focal length of the lens, or the longest focal length of the lens. So if you're shooting with a 28 to 70, the longest focal length is 70. So you have to shoot no slower than a 70th of a second. Shooting with a 50, it's a 50th of a second. If you're shooting with a 70 to 200, it's a 200th of a second. If you're shooting with a 35 to 135, it's 1 over 35th of a second, in order to have no camera shake when you're holding it. So this photo, I feel, has a little bit of camera shake. Compositionally, it's so strong. I was about to give it the full accolades of your best picture, and now that I've seen the focus up close, I need to reconsider. Now that I've seen the focus up close, I have to now say that a different photo, which is this photo, is now your best photo. By the way, I asked you guys earlier what you would like me to do as far as photos of the week. I'm going to choose perhaps three photos of the week this week. So would you like to know today, right now, or would you like to know in the Discord after the show? You tell me and I'll do it. Your wish is my command. That was photos from Romeo. And our last photographer is Exploras.pa. And Exploras had an idea, which was putting his pepper in ice and taking a photo. I love the idea. I feel like this is overall gray. You can see the background is gray. This is gray. There's just like no contrast to the whole image. I feel like there is a way to get more contrast here. And I feel like it's something that you did in order to kind of like save the exposure or something, but there's definitely a contrast thing that's happening in here. I know you submitted one more photo, and I know the photo on that contrast is better. Definitely better contrast here and a little bit of a stronger idea. But looking at the noise, to me, this noise says exposure. This says underexposed because of how big those grains are. Says underexposed. Once we nail that exposure, we can shoot lower ISOs and we don't have to compensate so much more. This picture now has black, white, and gray, where you look at this photo and you see gray, right? You see no contrast. It's just gray, which is why this one looks like a little bit of a mistake. This is closer to the contrast and definitely your best photo. If I had to pick between the two, I'd love to know what happened with that first photo in order to make that first photo so gray. And also, are you bringing in grain after the fact or one of those things in order to make it look like film, or is this an exposure thing? If you're bringing in grain after the fact, don't, because I need to see what your files look like. I would wait a little bit before you start doing that in post-production, because it's misleading. Guys, did you like today's episode of Real Photo Reviews? 2 hours of looking at peppers enthusiastically, giving you my insights, my vibes, what I believe you should do in order to make your photographs better. I hope you found that helpful. Guys, if you like these kinds of assignments, make sure that you watch Behind the Picture. I give these assignments during Behind the Picture, and that is something that I'm going to do every week. If you guys are into assignments that often, or maybe bi-weekly, every other week, I'll give you an assignment. I'm into it. I'm happy to do it. It's like I can think of assignments every episode. I have assignment. I have more assignments and more things that you guys need to have skills on than episodes in the week. So I'm happy to give you an assignment once a week. You do it that week, and that's what I look at for the photo reviews. I feel like some people will have a hard time with that, so I'm also okay with looking at what you want to shoot. But I liked this episode today. Do let me know if you liked me looking today only at pepper photos, only at the assignment. I gave you an assignment on Sunday. Today, almost 20 of you did that assignment and submitted for review. And I'm sure there's even more people who aren't members that submitted their peppers in the subscriber folder, which I'm going to look at as soon as I finish editing these videos. Guys, I'm very excited. I got 2 videos I'm dropping tomorrow. 2. I've never done this before, but I filmed and edited 2 videos, and I'm dropping them back to back. They go together. You watch one and you'll want to watch the next one, I hope. So I'm trying something different. They should drop tomorrow. I'm just about to go make the thumbnails. Guys, again, this commercial-free episode was brought to you by the channel members that support this amazing thing that we got going on here. The Carty crew. You guys, the ones that are in chat, the ones who pay me $5 a month. Because of you, we have commercial-free live streams. And you who are watching at home right now, who might not be a member, you're able to catch me live. And although you're not able to chat, because the chat's members only, you are able to get the benefits that happen during these live streams without commercials because of our members. So I thank you for that. Also, don't forget, today brought to you by Carty Crew merch. You can go buy a dope ass beanie like the one that I'm wearing right now, any of my caps, tees, and all that stuff. Although this fly jacket, not in the merch store, but it's on my back. Lastly, consider subscribing if you are as obsessed about photography as we are. This is a collective. Each one teach one. I've been doing this for over 3 decades, so you call me Coach Carty, but all the other photographers that watch me are all at different levels. I have an amazing Discord community. Everybody's helping everybody. Everyone's sharing photographs, sharing war stories, and it's an amazing place to be. My community spends more time on my Discord than they do on Instagram, on Twitter, or anywhere else. It's like our own little part of the internet. So come hang out with some other photographers that are just like you. Have over 500 members in the Discord. Oh, last thing, my mailing list. My mailing list is over 600 people. My mailing list has blown up. If you're not on my mailing list, I send out, by the way, it's not a sales funnel or anything like that. I'm not trying to sell you anything. What I do is I send you photo inspiration every Saturday. Inspiration on how to get better at professional photography, geared specifically towards people who are trying to be a pro. Sign up for my newsletter. It's free. And again, it's free. I send in stuff to you every Saturday. If you want to see my archives, if you want to see what I've posted for the last year, literally 39 weeks in a row, then you have to pay, because the archive is too good for me to now have not behind a paywall. And by the way, I might make a book of my blog posts. We'll see how that goes later in the year. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please consider becoming a member here on the tubes. Make sure you're on Discord, on my mailing list, and call your mom. Thanks for watching. Durell, let's go, baby. Glad you're here. You guys time warping me so late. But I can see the time warp still. I'm at Steve Carty on Instagram, at Steve Carty on all the social media platforms. If you want to follow me on some sort of socials, you can do that. If you became a member recently, you're going to see your name scroll across the top of the screen. I like giving love to the last 25 people to become members. And also, if you became a subscriber recently, then your name is going to scroll across the bottom of the screen as well. These are like my ending credits, where I get to talk to you with my NPR radio voice and my Shure SM7B and remind you the hardest part about this whole photography thing is maintaining. The hardest part is showing up. The hardest part is staying inspired. The hardest part is staying motivated. I'm here to do all of those things for you. I'm here to answer any of your questions. Make sure you're in the Discord. I love you guys. Thanks for hanging out.